everything, action, object, everything, you see, existing. Now you can see here, existing mere name. Everything existing mere name, you can see. If you, through this research, I mean, then you can see everything, and now here, existing mere name. Everything taught you, taught by others to you. You know, when you're born, you know nothing. Then gradually you're taught. Somebody introduces you everything, the whole phenomena. You see? So you can see here, everything is labeled, merely imputed by the mind. You see, if you analyze, there comes the point. Everything. So, somebody said, then teach you that's red. Okay, so then you believe in that. Then you see your mind, then your mind follow that. Then merely repeat, merely labeled red. Relating to that color. Relating to that color, then your mind merely imputed red. Your mind make up the name. Your mind make up the name. Merely imputed red. Relating to that. So, relating to that valid base. So that's all. What the rate is, that's all, nothing else. Nothing more extra than that. What's merely imputed by the mind, relating to that valid base, that color. Oh, that's so that extremely subtle, extremely subtle, unbelievable subtle. What your mind merely imputed. That's unbelievable subtle. It exists, but it's unbelievable subtle phenomena. So merely imputed by mind. Unbelievable subtle. So that's not what we normally think. That's the reality, but we never think that. I lie on myself or that. Never think that. Never. Never think that, and you see, maybe also don't believe. That's the reality, but don't believe. So believe the real red existing from there, nothing to the mind. In very gross way, nothing to the mind. Never came from mind. Never created by mind. Oh, so there's all the different extremely gross, then more subtle, the hallucination, you see, even as a hallucination. Oh, so there's many levels within that, within our view of seeing red. Appearing red, you see. Oh, many different levels, even the hallucination. So this, so the last one, the merely labeled. Existing permutation side. Existing. There's labeled by mind, but there's something there from its own side. That has to be something. There's something from there, or there has to be something from there. All that not so then you can't accept merely labeled by mind. Existing mere name, merely labeled by mind, can't accept. That which is Prasangika's view, that can't accept. Only the view of the Svatantrika you accept. Labeled by mind, it goes up to Madhyamika, Prasangika, labeled by mind, but it is just from its own side. It's something just from time. So therefore it doesn't exist from its own. So exists. So therefore not merely labeled by mind. So can't accept that. That is the correct view in the Prasangika school, or the Sautandra school. But the Prasangika school, that is the exact the gagja objective refuted, to be refuted gagja, the subtle one, the subtle objective refuted gagja tamo. So the exact. Or you realize empty, or you have to realize it is empty, not there. It's not there, even the atom, even such an atom, all is not there. So what a person, or Savatana believe right view, or the total wrong view in the Prasangika school view. Total view, the subtle object of repetition. So even that, then realize do not exist even atom at all from its own side. So then that is the Kasule. That's the correct emptiness second person view. So that's totally opposite to the ignorance, root of samsara. Holding the eye, that is not merely labeled by mind. Even the ignorance is subtle, not merely labeled by mind. There's an existing from its side. Something existing from its side. Slight thing, something existing from its side. Order. So totally, so that is absence. To realize totally empty that even such an atom doesn't do so. So totally something very deep and from its own side. More than that is the. Then that is the realization of the shunyata, or only emptiness. Don't want ni. The total remedy, total opposite, totally opposite to ignorance, holding I true. So the not merely labeled by mind, or the ignorance, see, or even the subtle ones, not merely labeled by mind, or opposite to that. Then the thought empty that. Then that helps to spot from that, then spot the I exists many imputed by mind. So those two, so you see, realize those are unified. So that's the Nagarjuna view, that's what the Buddha has taught, and so therefore numberless sentences, Buddha's compassion, great compassion, omniscience, all that, so power, popular power. So the Buddha has taught the Prajnaparamita, the 12 volumes, 12 volumes, then then more condensed 3 volumes, then more condensed Getongba is 1 volume. Then the shorter one is after the essence of wisdom, heart sutra. So, because then the few syllables of wisdom, then there's a syllable, 1 syllable of Prasangika. So as I told already, so that so Buddha's kind of compassion, unbelievable. The omniscience and the compassion to all sentient without just discriminating, compassion to every sentient being as well. Then there goes a perfect power. So the Buddha taught this, revealed this dependence arising. So then the numberless sentient beings already liberated from samsara, Buddha's kindness, Buddha's teaching, and this the unification of the emptiness only, and then the subtle dependent rise, the existing in the main name, the subtle dependent rise, unified those. Or then, by realizing that, or then numberless sentient beings already become free from samsara, and even now happening, and also in future. So not only that, then with the bodhicitta, then that collect unbelievable, sport of merit, and then the wisdom realizing directly perceiving this, then is able to seize even the subtle defilement, mainly obscure to still omniscience. So sees that. Dualist mind, dualist view, the projection, the decoration. Then you see the Dharmakaya. The total cessation of creation. The gross subtle. Dharmakaya. The nature of the ultimate nature of that mind in Sobhakaya. Then through that manifested Nimanakaya. Manifested Rupakaya. Then Rupakaya, then they said, then such a Nimanakaya, Samadhikaya, then manifested pure for those who are pure being. There's the ordinary, not ordinary Bodhisattvas, then the higher Bodhisattvas. ordinary Bodhisattva, Nirmagaya, higher Bodhisattva, Samadgaya, so like that. So when you achieve the state of omniscience, when you achieve the Guru, at that time, you are oneness with all the Dharmakaya. So that what this is what Pamunga mentioned, Deputy Demolition, which said, clear explanation, this is by only Deputy Pamunga mentioned. But I get it, but it seems when you become enlightened, you manifest your Tara, you manifest, all the different Buddhas. But not oneness with all the Dharmakaya. It seems there's a different way of explaining. It seems like that. But anyway, Gagja Dhammalochan said the clearest explanation is that Gagja only Papanga mentioned. So it's a so as I told you, already explained that one. From the first verse from the calling Guru from far, that one. Sanjay Kunji Yeshi, Dejen Chugu Rojik, Tinyin Tinjen Lama, Kunji Rangshen Tatu, Lama Chujugola, Yin so on this one. Oh, that's the very first verse from the calling Guru from far. Oh, that's Rinpoche. That's what Rinpoche said. That. So you become one with all the. When you achieve Guru, you become one with all the Buddhas. So that's.